There's a brother in Milwaukee knows a thing about fights. Got a homie out in Philly who can gamble all night. Plug it in the spreadsheet. We'll see how it goes. There's more to this lyric, and I just don't know. Welcome to Algorithm versus the Experts. I gotta finish that shit. It's gonna be better next time.
It's a tight rap. That's a tight beginning. I like it.
If I knew how to rap, that would have been way better.
No, it's a tight rap.
I'm gonna have her like, we got this little book. It's a dinosaur rapping book. And when I try and do it, I try and like sing the raps just instinctively because I grew up way too white and it doesn't at all. But my wife does it like it's spoken word slam poetry and it comes out beautifully.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, pop is just poetry.
Chris.
It's just word.
Happy Mother's Day to Chris too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for
jiu-jitsu.
three kids and a professor of violence. That's a household right there.
Mother's Day at 10 in the morning. Yeah. Us and the 3 kids went to the gym, built an obstacle course for the kids, and taught people how to kill each other.
Sounds like a beautiful start to a Mother's Day to me. I did the same at 10 a.m. I was doing jiu-jitsu at 10 a.m. on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Before giving my wife a gift. She was at home waiting for a gift. We did gifts after. Yeah.
All right. So,
and she was right again. And she was right. And Anthony Smith got his ass kicked again.
Dude, he really did. Yeah. I think he looked good in the beginning.
Competitive first round. Yeah, I thought Walker won the first round, but he was more competitive. Then he was just offered nothing.
That was, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It was disappointing because I really do feel like Anthony Smith deserves to fight for the title again.
Yeah.
It's sad that his fights keep going in the ways that they do, right? Like, he absolutely could have and should have won that fight. Just, something happened and he couldn't get over it. Like, there's always another weird little thing with Anthony Smith. So, recapping last week, we didn't pick Carlos Olberg versus Ihor Potieria because that wasn't on the main card when we did our picks, which is super annoying that they do that shit.
That's okay. We're gonna take Olberg anyway. That was simple. Yeah, I think I just filled in Olberg in the file if I did for you. Like
both of us, just like
we knew Ihor wasn't that good. Yeah, found a good little prop actually for that fight. I found on FanDuel Olberg to win in round 1 or 2 was only like -120, and I jumped on that. I thought that was really amazing, being that he was so heavily favored to finish the fight. Maybe it was a mistake or not, but I couldn't bet a lot on it. I think the max was like $340, but yeah, I feel that was like a pretty massive mistake. I mean, if he wins, he was favored to finish the fight, and it's going to happen within 2 rounds in MMA usually, especially against a guy like that. So that worked out.
Cool. We had Matt Brown knocking out Cord McGee.
Nice call.
I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see that coming at all. That was a pretty sick KO. Beautiful. Matt Brown knocked him out. Cord McGee's second finish. I guess nothing crazy happened in the main. Almeida just took him down early and got the finish pretty early. Everybody's kind of predicted that. And what else? The Johnny Walker was the co-main. Yeah, that was
Morono. Did you pick Morono or did you pick Means?
No, Morono.
Okay, I think we both picked
Alex Morono has been doing really well. I didn't expect him to finish the thing, and he was winning against the Pons. I mean, Alex Morono was like, he was only like a couple minutes away from like a 6 or 7 fight winning streak. Alex Morono might be, he's constantly improving too. He might fight. Alex Morono might fight for a title soon, and as much as we hate, I don't know if this thing, Johnny Walker's probably might get a title shot soon because he's gonna be back in like the top 5. He wins an off fight or 2.
I don't expect
I think
Alex
Moreno might get the title fight if he wins another fight or two. No,
why would
he's
he?
just been winning. Maybe not, but that's a thing.
I don't want to take time to dig into his record right
Yeah, we don't need to. We could do it next time or something. But
now.
we do have fights this week. Not an amazing card, but not the worst. Better than that fight night card I think 2 weeks ago. And then we get a week off next week before rolling into June. This is just a 5-fight main card on a fight night, but I think they're gonna be matchups. I think there's good matchups on this main card. As far as the undercard, as far as any like hidden gems or bets, don't have any right now. Lines moved on Carolina, and Carolina was a medium underdog. Now she's the favorite against Demopoulos, and Takashi Sato was a pretty big underdog, and now that's a pick against Themba Garimbo. But again, these are really low-level fights. Some boring fucking fights in there too. Yeah, staying away from almost all these. Betting wise, just maybe watch them. Yeah, main card, 5 fights. Kicking it off, Michael Johnson, Diego Ferreira. Diego Ferreira opened up -220 over Michael Johnson. He's now sitting at about -150 over Michael Johnson.
Tell me how many fights Michael Johnson has in the UFC. Just guess.
18.
27.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, he's is he the longest tenured fighter, male fighter on the roster? No, with 27 fights.
I don't even think he's in the top 5 for total fights.
Because Carolina has to be the longest tenured female fighter, or up there. I mean, she's been there forever at this point.
False.
Has a million fights.
We could find a bunch of girls who have more fights than her in the UFC.
No, who's been there? I think she's been in the longest. I think she's been there longest at this point. I think she's been there.
I think that Angela Hill got there first.
Oh, that's who I meant. That's who it was. Angela Hill. Yeah, okay. Angela Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So he's got 27 fights. What do you think his record is in the UFC?
Hang on, I think he's almost 500 overall, so I think he's probably 500-ish, right?
Pretty close. Pretty close. He's 13-14 in the UFC.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because he's
actually losing. He's actually got a losing record. Wow.
Yeah. He has 39 fights total. 27 of them are in the UFC.
Yeah, he had that bad run. We talked about him on previous. He had a bad run after that Khabib loss. Did he lose like 6 or 7 in a row? Something bad, and like a couple of them were like really unlucky, like submissions or dominating fights. Like he just went on a bad streak, and now he's kind of doing a little better.
He got finished by Dern Elkins, and he beat Andre Fili. That's a good fight.
Elkins was third,
which whatever. Knocked out by Josh Emmett. Loses to Stevie Ray, who's not in the UFC anymore, but is pretty good.
No, Stevie Ray.
That one was like silly. Loses to Clay Guida. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
On Patrick, I definitely picked against him there. Made sense when he lost to Jamie Malarkey. Didn't make sense when he beat Mark DeCasey.
No, it didn't make sense. I think the Malarkey fight was somewhat close though too. I think so. He's doing a little better against guys that can grapple. Yeah, Mark DeCasey, he's actually looked like he put something together, and he was a pretty big, sizable underdog there, and he won that fight. It didn't make sense, but Michael Johnson's talented. I mean, he stung Khabib once, like when they fought. I mean, he's quick. His striking lightning quick. He's always going to be there. I don't know how much. And something like I don't. I mean, yeah, he's fine. I guess it's not going to matter. But the point I was going to get to, I was going to say, like, I don't know how much, like, in his head, like, I think a fighter at his point of his career, like Michael Johnson, like, he's kind of already seen his future in a sense come to fruition as far as a fighter. Like, he's definitely in the twilight of his career, so I don't know how much dog he still has in him. As far as like fighting for the title, and I think we saw that last week with D-Rod against Ian Gary. Like, I kind of wasn't the same guy, whereas Ian Gary was really, really, really into that fight. Like some of the interviews I saw even leading up to that fight, and I did bet D-Rod still, but I don't know. It could kind of like Ian Gary was a guy that talked like he had his eyes set on not only this fight, but his, no pun intended, the future as well. Like he was ready for a lot of things they threw at him, whereas D-Rod was, I don't feel he had that same mindset. So I don't know how he's fighting an opponent too, though. It's not Diego Ferreira, who not a ton of fights, but I don't think he's had a lot of fights recently, and he hasn't won a fight in over 3 years. But yeah, tough fight to get a solid angle on as far as betting. Diego Ferreira at a 4-7 May. I guess if Michael Johnson can keep this fight on the feet, I mean he's looks like the chin of Ferreira. He's been finished by strikes. His last two losses. If he keep this fight on the feet,
You got
yeah,
banking by both of these guys.
yeah, he could find his fight on the chin. Michael Johnson's always had good. He's good cardio, even though he's got good cardio. I think if he extends this fight.
Diego?
No, Michael Johnson.
Oh, okay.
If he extends this fight, yeah, I think it favors him. I think he can get. I think that's why you saw the line drop. Like people jumped on Michael Johnson, maybe can win this fight. He's definitely got power. I mean, I don't know, but this is a tough fight to predict. But I don't know. How does Diego fare? What do you think? Is this a clear path for Michael Johnson, or is this a tough?
No.
Not
at all. Dude, he didn't get knocked out in those last two fights. He was broken. Like, they didn't knock out Diego Ferreira. They knocked out the ghost of Diego Ferreira.
Okay.
Right? So.
Diego Ferreira, he's actually older than Michael Johnson. Wow.
He's old. He's got a lot of miles on him. He hasn't fought. He's got like 13 fights in the UFC.
Like, he doesn't have wow, he hasn't. His last win was over 3 years ago. He submitted Anthony Pettis. So he's fought high-level guys. Wow, split decision loss to Dariush, which is impressive. I don't remember that fight. Then the guys that got Gregor, you said broke him, who's good, and then Gamrot broke him. Gamrot pushes that crazy pace, so he breaks a lot of people.
Beneil Dariush, world-class grappler.
Mm-hmm.
Gamrot, Gillespie, cardio machines, world-class grapplers.
Yes.
Then you have a loss to Dustin Poirier, who knocked him out, but can grapple. Like he's not a grapple first guy, but who doesn't know jiu-jitsu? Like, yeah, he's a black belt. And then another loss to Beneil Dariush. The only dudes that he loses to are the guys that can out-grapple him. And I don't even know if Dustin Poirier would have out-grappled him. But I'm pretty confident that Michael Johnson won't. I don't think that he'll get a bunch of takedowns, but he does tend to spend a decent amount of time on the ground, right? No control time. He had 1 minute of control time against Gregor Gillespie, who's a takedown machine. He had control time against Dariush when he got taken down in that one too. 4 minutes control time against Anthony Pettis. Right, like let's see. Yeah, actually, if he doesn't take you down, he doesn't control you. Ooh, he got taken down by Ovan Mercier and then was on top for 4 minutes after that. So he's not like when we get to Mackenzie Dern, we'll talk about this again. But Mackenzie Dern has like almost no takedowns, but all of her fights always end up on the floor. Right? Because of what you do to determine a takedown. We talked about this with Crone Gracie the other week. Like, Every time Chrome Gracie decided we're grappling now, they grappled now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it didn't check the box that we call takedown, but every time he decided we were grappling, we were grappling. And Mackenzie Dern has that kind of thing where she'll just decide we're grappling now, and the other person's like, "Fuck, we're grappling now. I don't want to grapple." If Diego had that, I think he would tear Michael Johnson to pieces. He doesn't have that.
No.
But I don't expect Michael Johnson to just finish him. I got Diego, is really what this comes down to. I don't think Johnson's going to break Diego. It's not his style. And if he's not going to break Diego, then I don't know how he's going to win. So I see many more paths to victory for Diego Ferreira than I do Michael Johnson.
Yeah. All right.
Diego Ferreira.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I see. I think that's a really good breakdown, and I think it matches the current betting line. So yeah, the books and algorithms are on your wavelength. All right, I like that.
Andre Fialho versus Joaquin. Actually, who'd you bet?
I'm gonna go for Ferreira after that to win that fight. I think he gets back in the win column.
Okay. Andre Fialho versus Joaquin Buckley.
Yes, first hidden gem. I like this fight. I think this fight's going to be very violent, and I think it's going to be very violent early. I don't think this fight lasts 1.5 rounds. I like under 1.5 rounds at plus 140. I think that's dropped now to plus 120. I also am not afraid to look like a moron. I think Andre Fialho is going to win this fight. I think he wins in round 1. I think he's going to knock out Joaquin Buckley. I think some things we talked about. Joaquin Buckley, his past like 3 or 4 fights, are he very, very hittable. He doesn't have the greatest chin. I think it affects him. I think it affects him when he's knocked. He's durable in a sense.
Fialho has a poor chin.
Buckley. I think Buckley. Fialho doesn't have an amazing chin either lately, but we'll talk about that. I think Buckley's not a good. He's a great hammer. I think he's a poor nail. He'll stay in the fight, but I think he's a different guy when he's not the same fighter when he gets hit.
Sorry, I'm going to interject here to actually toot your horn for a second. That is really good analysis. There's a very big difference between someone who can be a hammer and someone who can be a nail. Anybody who's made it this far, take that piece of wisdom and start like a lens, like a monocle. Take that lens and slide that in front of your eye so you see the world just a little bit different, right? Finding out who can be a nail is a very valuable thing. Like,
for sure,
Robbie Lawler. No, here's the ultimate nail. Darren Elkins. There is no better nail than Darren.
The damage.
Elkins.
Yeah.
He's way better as a nail than he is a hammer. Most people are good hammers. Some people can be a nail. It is anomalous to be a better nail than you are hammer. But I think that you are correct. I don't think that Buckley makes an excellent nail. Continue with your important stuff.
No, that's good stuff. That's good stuff too. I think Buckley something happened. So he took 2 fights on pretty short notice, like Fialho did recently in his past. But he's moving down in a weight class, which he's fought at before. But I don't really. I mean, he always looks amazing in there, but I don't really like his. I don't like his performances. I'm not that crazy about. I've talked about it in the past. I'm not that crazy when guys switch weight classes, unless it's for really solid reasons. Going back to a weight class like you started in, and then you went up, and now you're going back down. Yeah, I don't. I'm not crazy about that. So Andre Fialho is. I think Andre Fialho is like an. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's an excellent fighter overall, but he is a guy I put in those. I think I have like 10 guys that I put in that are just really good first, like they're excellent first round fighters. Andre Fialho is one of those guys to me. He's a great first round fighter. No, I
Take him
like
out
him
of
as
your
first.
Rolodex of good fighters.
Huh?
Take him out of your Rolodex of good fighters.
No, first round fighter. He's great in the
Nah.
first round only. No,
Yes.
I like him in the first round. He took 2 fights on short notice as well. Jake Matthews was excellent that night. Oh, he took 3 fights on short notice. Yeah, he needed a break.
The only person he's beaten that's worth mentioning is Miguel Baeza.
Yeah, I'm not saying he beat anybody like stupendous.
So like,
he lost
Muslim Salikov shouldn't like that dude. I don't want to disparage Muslim Salikov in this, but that's a fight where I thought that Fialho could have shown us something. Cameron Van Camp is no longer in the UFC. He got knocked out right away. Right? Miguel Baeza is like 3-2 in the UFC, and I have maybe he's 2-3 in the UFC, but I actually do have high expectations of Baeza.
Yeah,
Right?
he's talented.
But his losses are like, okay, Michel Pereira, Jake Matthews, Muslim Salikov. All 3 of these dudes are proven to be at a high level. But dude, like, he's losing on some stupid shit. Right? He's not an intelligent fighter.
Yeah, he might not be.
Face. The reason we have a chin is because he puts his chin on a silver platter and gifts it to you. This dude might have skills in punching and kicking, but he's dude, like,
It got cut.
oh,
It got
okay. He's dumb and he's not going to make it to the top. I'll repeat it for you.
I totally I'm not disputing that at all.
In punching and kicking. Buckley hasn't fought in welterweight in like 5 or 6 years. He hasn't fought in welterweight in the UFC.
Yeah,
but
which to me,
welterweight, he went to decision with a guy who is now a world champion or about to be a world. Logan Storley, Bellator dude who fought for a world title, right?
Broly's
So
a champ.
Buckley's got good experience. Buckley's got better experience than Fialho. He's fought better opposition than Fialho.
Yeah.
But the thing about Buckley is,
I agree with that.
Also not beaten anybody.
No.
So like the Duraev fight is anomalous. Okay. He lost to Chris Curtis, who's a good fighter. Lost to Nasruddin Imavov, who's a good fighter. He beat Abdul Razak Al Hassan, who's 50-50 in the UFC. And that was a split decision. He beat Antonio Arroyo, who I think is like 1-3 in the UFC. He's 0-3.
I don't think he's there anymore. Yeah.
Okay. His other wins are over Jordan Wright and Impa Kasanganay, both dudes who don't belong here.
No.
Right? Like,
no, I mean, Joaquin's had some good wins and some magic moments that spinning. I think he had the knockout of the year one year. So yeah, I mean, you do that. I just don't. Man, I think it's hard for me to not see this weight cut being hard for him, and really just I think the weight cut. He hasn't fought at this weight in a long time. That weight cut for a guy like him that's a ton of muscle, I think that's pretty difficult.
It's easier to cut if you're muscular.
Is it 15 pounds? I mean, Fialho's power is proven there though at 170. I just think Fialho. I think like we said last time, I think Fialho. I think even though Fialho, yeah, maybe he's as hittable as Buckley, but I think his striking is just a lot better than Buckley. I just don't. I mean, Joaquin Buckley likes to stand and bang until he can't, until he gets hit, and then it all changes. It's hard for me to think Fialho doesn't.
Fialho gets hit twice as much as he lands.
it's hard for me to think that he's not going to find Buckley. I just don't think this. I think the line's just wrong. I think this fight's really close. I think this is more of a pick 'em, and I think there's a lot of value on. I think there's a lot of value with on the Fialho side. So I'm not afraid to look like an idiot. So I will say Fialho, first round knockout.
Eat your crow, sir. Eat your crow. Buckley.
We will see. All right, next fight.
Edmund Shabazian. No.
There's one in there. Yeah, what's in the middle?
Lupita Godinez versus
Emily Ducote. Yeah. So
Fun.
I got another bet on this card. So I'm back in Fialho round 1, under 1.5 rounds in that fight. And I backed Loopy she opened up -200 and she fell to -140. Now she's about -150. Yeah, I like Loopy in this fight. Loopy has gotten away from her wrestle heavy approach her last 2 fights. Angie Hill outstruck her, which she should have in a striking match. She pulled off the upset. And then she chose to not grapple again against Cynthia Colvio. We kind of saw that with these wrestle heavy, the wrestle heavy fighter with what's his name, Mark Matson. He had a couple fights where he was just, let me strike. I need to learn how to strike. Maybe my wrestling isn't transitioning enough, which I don't know why Loopy was doing. Loopy was winning fights, and her wrestling is excellent. I think she has good control too. I don't think she's got good control when she gets a top position. I see her going back to that a little bit. I think she's gotten too much away from that. I see her going back to that wrestling, and I think that's a clear path. As Emily Ducote, if I've looked into her history and seen her losses, some tape, even when she gets down to her back, she's very content to fight from her back. She needs you to be really lazy and try to pull a armbar from bottom, maybe triangle attempt from bottom, which I think is going to be really poor against somebody, really poor success rate against Loopy. I think Loopy likes to also, if she advances, if she gets past your guard, I think she's pretty good control and she's pretty good at this weight class at finishing fights or ground and pounding. Ducote's, if it starts striking, I do like the fact that Loopy has improved her striking, or at least tried to strike and getting more comfortable in her striking. I would say Ducote's more well-rounded at this point with finishing combos with leg kicks and seeing that through. But Ducote's pretty flat-footed. She's not really laterally quick. I think Loopy's a better athlete. And she's going to have more power as well in the striking. Ducote's more like pot shot and leaves her head on a platter, like you said about Buckley. Like, I think she's very hittable. She's 12-7 overall, but I think her UFC fights, Jess Penny fight, that was around a piece going in around 3. Jess Penny just didn't fight well that day. She didn't check any leg kicks, and Ducote got the better of her, and then she got routed by Angela Hill in a striking match. So, I think this all signs points. I think Loopy can dominate this fight. Will she? I don't know, but I think at -140, it's worth it to find out. That's all I got.
Ducote's been fighting for a really long time. She's 20. Her first amateur fight was when she was 20. I mean, I guess 9 years isn't really that long. As I look at this more and more, that's actually kind of common. But she's been fighting at a pretty high level, right? She got to Bellator in her 4th professional fight, and then fought Alima Lane McFarlane, Bellator's world champion. The girl is 32. And she fought her twice. Actually, I think she's not the world champion anymore.
No, she hasn't been for a little while. But
I believe
she was.
15 Kish. No.
Yeah, she did.
Juliana Velasquez. She lost it to Juliana Velasquez. But she fought Alima Lane twice and made it to the 5th round both times. Once it was a decision. The other time she got armbarred almost at the end of the 5th round. Right? And then she had two more fights in Bellator that weren't like weren't impressive. They were just against girls. Um, and then like off to Invicta, where she did okay in Invicta. She beat a couple of decent girls. Like, dude, she's the point of this is Emily Ducote is super experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just that she has 20, 24 fights. Um, she's fought some really, really talented girls in that time. Like, she's fought 2 world champions minimum. She's got a loss to Emily Spitfire Whitmire, who's like, I know her name. Like, I don't even remember how good she is, but I can just offhand tell you that
Not
girl's
very
hot,
good.
right? Um, I think I'm leaning towards Loopy, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Dakota had the skills to make this not Loopy's fight.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't either. I just think Loopy has a clear path to really dominate this fight. And I think she
Loopy's
takes it
good
for the
for
most part.
4 takedowns a fight. She
Mm.
went 8 for 8 against Carnelossi and 5 for 5 against Lomalo Bume. Like, dude, that's dope. But you said she could finish. She can't finish. She has 2 finishes in her history. That's just not that's just not how she fights. Um,
Yeah, I didn't mean finishing like the fights. I just meant finishing takedowns and
okay.
controlling and getting to better positions and just finishing like rounds on top and not letting your opponent get back to her feet like that, which I think Ducote's get of the game is pretty bad to me. Um,
I
sorry,
think
but
I think Loopy's the smart pick. I think everything you're saying is correct. I think Loopy's the smart pick. I wouldn't be shocked to see Dakota make something out of it.
yeah, no, I wouldn't either. I think that would be more Loopy's fault though. Like, no, I think Loopy because Loopy has a way to really win this fight rather easily.
I
Get
think
it to the ground.
this is one where it makes more sense to bet on over 1.5 round than it does to bet on a winner.
Hmm. Yeah,
I expect it to go to decision, and I expect Loopy to win. But if Dakota wins, it's still going to be by decision.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
All right.
All right.
Edmund Shirazian versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. What you got for me, Johnny?
Uh, I got it. All right. So Anthony Hernandez. I love what Anthony Hernandez has been doing lately. He's been awesome in there. He's been fun to watch. I mean, the man has a motor, and he's just breaking people. He's just pouring it on you. With that being said, Edmund is kind of the opposite. Edmund is kind of very breakable. He just has shown severe cardio issues. Um, look, came in. I mean, maybe he was a little overhyped, but he did. He knocked out Brad Tavares, who was a big favorite against Derek Brunson, and he gassed out Jack Hermanson. Amazing first round, and then just gassed out second, third rounds. Imavov, kind of always same thing. Like he's just not. He just got beat up. Um, he's very talented though. I mean, he's only 25. He switched his camps now. He's at Extreme Couture, and I think he's made a lot of improvements since then that I've seen. Um, Dolce Bulla, yeah, he ended up getting the knockout there, which I think was big for him. Um, Anthony Hernandez just, I think off of the guys Anthony Hernandez has fought recently. I think this is going to be a step up in talent, especially in round one when Edmund, who's shown he's an excellent first round fighter, if if not anything else. He's a talented striker. He's great in the first round when he's fresh. Everything's hard on him. It's hard to take him down. It's hard. He's just really, um, yeah. I mean, Anthony, he shocked everybody. He submitted Rodolfo, which was really impressive. He's a huge underdog, and then he showed a great motor against Josh Rem, who was good, and then he broke Marc Andre Barrio, who is the unbreakable guy, who is kind of like the power bar. Yeah, I mean he's looked really good. Looked really good in those fights. I think Edmund has fought better competition though overall. Um, I think is the guy he's faced, even though he lost to those guys, he's had tremendous moments early in those fights, and I think he knocked out Dolce, so you can see his power and everything. It's still there. Anthony Hernandez, the thing that scares me is, I mean, he's minus 300, which I think is really wide. I think it should be more like minus 150, minus 200. Thing that scares me is, I mean, he's very wild. Anthony Hernandez is very wild. He's very hittable, um, especially early. He likes to come forward and he pushes that crazy pace. And he does that by fighting crazy and fighting pretty reckless. Everything's wide on him. His shots are wide. His goal is to run through you, get you tired out, and then start taking you down. And he follows that plan very well. But I think that step up, I do think he's stepping up here. I think the line is really ridiculous. And it's hard for me to not see Edmund not stunning him and catching him in the first round and hurting him. Being that he's defensively lapsed and he likes to come in with you wide, like Edmund, like we talked about, Edmund is really good in the first round and he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of talent. So yeah, I'm gonna look like an idiot again. I think I'm gonna go with Edmund, and I'm gonna go with a really big payout too and prop, and I think Edmund could win in round one. I got Edmund taking advantage of Anthony Hernandez's sloppy defensive gaps and wide loopy punches early, and I think he's going to knock out. I think he's going to get knocked out. I think Edmund is fought better competition, and I think he's getting better since he made the move to Extreme Couture, and I think he's gonna. I think this is going to be a much tougher fight for Anthony Hernandez than his last few.
I do agree.
I don't think it should be minus 300, so I think I'm going to go with Edmund.
I do agree that Edmund has fought tougher opposition. And I do agree that the line is overinflated. Anthony Hernandez is going to walk right through the Golden Boy, and you're going to be confused why you spent so much time talking about it.
He might.
Dude, it's like... yeah. Who has Edmund beaten?
Nobody.
Edmund beat Brad Tavares. Edmund beat Brad Tavares.
He's a hard man to finish.
Okay. Those are the only two opponents he's had who are still in the UFC.
No.
Yep. Jack Marshman, Charles Bird, Darren Stewart, and yeah, Jack Marshman, Charles Bird, and Darren Stewart are all out of the UFC.
Oh, who he's beaten. All right.
Mm-hmm. So his losses are to guys who I think are all in the top 15. Got Derek Brunson, Hermanson, Nasruddin Nurmala.
Yeah, or they were. Yeah.
Top 15.
Yeah.
But his victories are only over guys who don't fight here anymore.
Yeah, and the big reason for that is he's got cardio issues. I think he stepped up too much. Yeah, he was only 23, and I think he was overhyped when they put him up against Derek Brunson. I don't think he was ready for that. But again, he looks great. Like that was a 5-rounder too, I think. Yeah, he was. And then Jack Hermanson, he's great in the first round. Imavov, I don't remember that fight really though. I shouldn't comment. Dolce, yeah, he got it down. So his power's there. He's knocking guys out still. He's knocking out Brad Tavares, who's hard to knock out, knocking out Dolce, who's not that hard to finish, I don't think, but he's got power.
Right, so what do you think about Brendan Allen?
It's awesome.
Yeah? All right, cool. Because he beat Brendan Allen.
Yeah.
Then he got knocked out by Jordan Wright, but that one was weird. That was how Jordan Wright got to the UFC. And then he had a weird loss to Marcus Perez.
Mm-hmm.
And he got like flash finished by Kevin Holland.
Yeah, that's the thing. All that plays into my pick. I think he's just hittable and maybe his body shots are the way weakness because he is durable, but he is hittable. He's been finished. I wouldn't go crazy off 2 finished losses, but I just think Edmund. I think he's. I mean, I think Edmund's getting a little overlooked here for his talent. I mean, Edmund's only lost 3 times as well, and they're all to really good people. So
That's true, dude. But look,
just
like
value play. He might get
Gino
steamrolled.
Hart is a grapple
Pirate
first,
Turtle.
right? The Iron Turtle's a grapple first dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. I'm gonna bring up the stats before I misquote them to you. Anthony Fluffy took down the Iron Turtle like repeatedly. Like it wasn't difficult,
Yeah,
right?
Bucky's well rounded.
Takedowns against Andre Barriault, right?
Yeah, he
8
broke the power bar.
Fremd. Josh Fremd. I was offered Josh Fremd. He's an All-American, right? Like that's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Um, he took down. Oh, he got taken down by Adolfo Vieira 4 times, but then he submitted Adolfo. Adolfo
Yeah.
never put him in a submission attempt. He tried to submit him multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's take out that Kevin Holland fight because it was weird. And then you go Iron Turtle, 6 takedowns over the Iron Turtle, and then submits him. Marcus Perez, like I don't even know what happened in that fight.
Yeah, things happen. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
And then the Jordan Wright was another like freaky whatever. Like the Fremd is new to the UFC. Rodolfo Vieira has had kind of mixed. He's been a mixed bag. What we've seen out of him,
It's got better though.
but he's getting better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Marc-Andre Barriault is he's 4-6 in the UFC, so that's not that great of a win. I get what you're saying about the line. He shouldn't be plus 300, but I have every bit of confidence that Fluffy's going to smash the Golden Boy. Like
Okay.
it's
Yeah, that's definitely possible. I can just see, things happen. Maybe Fluffy can't get takedowns. Maybe that move to Extreme Couture for Edmund. Maybe he learns how to wrestle a little better and keep the fights on his feet. Where I think he'll have he's going to have the edge, especially early when he's fresh. I think he's definitely much more technical of a striker. I just think he's going to I think he's going to have the opportunity to light Anthony Hernandez up, which is something you never want from a minus 300 favorite. So I'm going to go with the upset. I think Edmund's going to win this fight. You got Anthony to steamroll through him, which wouldn't shock me either because he's the favorite for a reason. Let's see. Brings us to our main event of the evening: Mackenzie Dern, Angela Hill. What do you got? I know who you got here. Come on.
who do I have?
Come
here?
on.
You tell me.
You love Angela Hill, but you adore grapplers, so you're going to take Mackenzie Dern regardless.
I do adore grapplers. And Mackenzie Dern is one of the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioners to ever come over into MMA.
Oh, Jesus.
She really is.
Oh, Jesus.
But her game is not designed for MMA at all.
But it's getting better.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think if anything, so I was always low on her. She's very tough. She can take a fight. She can get hit and keep coming back. She's tough, and I think her striking is getting better, and her wrestling's shown a little improvement. Even though she's just not a physically strong wrestler, she'll never be that. But she's getting better.
The primary value of grappling someone.
The primary value of grappling someone. How do I answer that?
Why do I want to grapple you? Why, if you and I are fighting, why do I want to grapple you? Me, not literally, me, the random human. Why is it smart for me to grab you rather than strike you?
You can't hit me.
Good. That's exactly accurate. So the primary value of grappling is to take away the ability for your opposition to strike you.
Yes.
So theoretically, if you are an incredibly high level grappler, you should hit other people a lot more than they hit you because they literally are not in the position to be capable of doing that. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Agreed.
The Dern gets hit more than she lands.
Yes.
She's constantly on the ground. She's constantly in dominant position, and she's constantly throwing shitty ground and pound. And she still gets hit more than she lands. Now, she's plotty. She can't take you down.
No.
Angela Hill has great footwork.
Yes.
So, Angela Hill doesn't really get finished anymore.
No.
Right.
No.
She's got 2 submission losses ever, and I think those are to Rose Namajunas and might be Carla Esparza. Ronda Marcos.
Right. Which
and
was
Rose Namajunas. Oh, and then she got one to Carla Esparza while they were on The Ultimate Fighter. All right. So 3 girls who are like ridiculously good grapplers. 2 of whom are world champions. Dude, Mackenzie Dern had, on paper, Mackenzie Dern has world championship potential, but she's not putting these things in the right places. Her ground game is not designed for MMA. She committed 3 of her 5 resources to Jean Janan's ankle in her last fight. She had her leg tied to Jan's arm, or to her leg. She had both of her hands attached to her ankle. Right now, she has enough jiu-jitsu that she was able to make that into a thing. But De La Riva guard is not common in MMA. Not that it's not functional, but the level, the depth that she took De La Riva there is just not intelligent in MMA. Even if it's functional, it's just not. She constantly does. She's not built for MMA.
No, like I think of those. She had those toe hold attempts against Isa Torres, like in a fight that was questionable. I mean, I thought she lost that fight, but it could have went either way. Split decision. She just got some good wins though. You know, Virna. She beat Virna. You know, she beat Janjaba, who got better and better.
Grapple with you.
It was a good fight. Yeah, but I mean, Virna is definitely stronger than Mackenzie. I would say more physical. But she did beat her unanimously.
You know who Gabby Garcia is?
Hmm?
You know who Gabby Garcia is?
Yeah, that's the Amazonian female grappler.
Cool, keep talking.
That's all I know. She's really good though. She's always the #1 seed in the ADCCs. She's really good.
Yes.
She looks like she's roided up, or she was. She's a beast.
Yeah. So Gabby Garcia and oh, there we go. That's a good photo. There we go. Let me go ahead and bring this up for you real quick. Gabby Garcia and Mackenzie Dern have competed against each other multiple times.
Okay.
Right? Gabby Garcia at one point was like 255 pounds.
Yeah.
Might have even been bigger than that. All right.
But she's big. Like she's like 6'3", right? She's big. Oh, she lost a lot of weight. She's really fit now. Good for her.
Gabby Garcia standing next to Fabricio Verdum.
Oh my gosh, she's that tall? She might have healed on.
Standing next to Fyodor.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Overeem. She's as big as Overeem. Look at how much bigger she is than Vanderlei.
Yeah.
She's bigger than Shogun. Like, dude. Okay, so the reason I brought that up, because Mackenzie Dern, don't give a fuck how strong you are. Mackenzie Dern beat Gabby Garcia more than once.
Wow. Yeah, it's impressive because she's fucking tiny.
Gabby Garcia is literally twice Mackenzie Dern's size. Twice her weight. Mackenzie Dern beat her more than once. So, strong? Who cares? I think Angela Hill wins this on footwork. In an ideal world, I think that Angela Hill can utilize the same game plan that she utilized against Jessica Andrade, which didn't work. She didn't win, but you want some homework, John? Go watch Jessica Andrade versus Angela Hill.
I remember that fight.
That's a dope fight. Like, that's
Yeah,
a fight worth going back and studying. That is a masterclass in footwork, even though it didn't work. Even though she lost the fight, that was such a good fight.
Angela Hill is like I went and like I think Mackenzie Dern, for all her accolades and whatever she has in jiu-jitsu, I think she's getting better, but she's still underwhelming overall. She should have more submission wins in the UFC. Like she needs to find it. I don't see how. Like, she's been in prime positions against Marina Rodriguez, Tisha Torres, and even against Yanan Zhan, who that's a great win at this point, or that's a good loss because that was a close fight, and Jan is just knocked out fucking Andrade and might fight for a title soon, and her hands are really good. So Mackenzie Dern, she's very tough, and this is a 5-round fight again, and you can't finish Mackenzie, it seems like. Angela Hill isn't finishing her anyway. So all 5 rounds pointing into that. Angela Hill, this might be her best. This could be I know you might say she's 38 or 39, however old she is, but she might be the best version of herself. Virna kind of dominated her in the grappling department, but she didn't get submitted. I don't think 2 submission losses and out of 12 losses is really that embarrassing. That's against great grapplers. That's pretty good if you ask me. Can Mackenzie submit her? Of course. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, if she finds the opening, she is. I think something that's I guess it doesn't, because Rodriguez is pretty throws a lot of kicks. Jan can throw a lot of kicks. I feel like Angela Hill is pretty kick heavy. As her striking style is kickboxing. I don't know if she's as fast as Marina Rodriguez. I'm wondering if Mackenzie Dern can catch her kicks.
Marina Rodriguez.
Faster, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Then it won't matter. So I was thinking if Mackenzie can catch kicks as an angle to try to get a takedown at some point. I don't know. Like, Angela Hill, she fought another really strong, like Amanda Lemos, who I think she is going to get the belt one day. She's really good, and that fight was really close. Angela Hill lost that decision, but that could have went her way. And then she lost to Virna. I mean, she got some bad bad decision losses. And then she beat Lupi. She had no business winning that fight. Everybody counted her out there, but she outstruck. And then she really put on a clinic against Ducote. Unanimous, like 30-27 across all cards. Just a much better striker. So, if this was 3 rounds, I would love Angela Hill, because I think she can keep Mackenzie off her, keep it standing. But 5 rounds, I think, gives Mackenzie a much better shot, because I think the fight will find the floor at some point in 5 rounds. I don't think, is Angela Hill good enough to not get taken down over 25 minutes against anyone? Really?
Against a girl with 11% takedown. She's not going to get taken down, but they will end up on the floor. But Angela Hill has good enough defense that she'll get back to her feet.
And Angela Hill can...
But it won't be a takedown. I don't think there'll be a single takedown scored in this fight.
That's hard. Well, then Angela Hill, she's plus 160. I mean, she's still an underdog.
Yeah.
I think Mackenzie Dern wins. I don't know how. I guess it's good. Can she win a decision against Angela Hill? No. But she would have to win by submission.
I mean, it'd have to be on the ground. If they're on the ground for 3 rounds, she could win a decision.
Right, just like ground and pound control, because Angela Hill, like against Virna, it's tough for her to get. Her submission defense has been a lot better, but she doesn't get back to her feet very well. But man, I don't know. I kind of want to see Angela Hill win this fight and get back in the top 10 and make like a late title run, because I think she got real unlucky in some of these decision losses. But I don't know. I think Mackenzie, to me, has been improving. I don't know if she's ready to put it all together, or how big of those improvements are, or like every fight's different. Like, I don't know how she might take Angie down 2 times, because maybe she just puts things together and gets takedowns and gets a quick submission win. But I think she wins the fight. I'll tip Dern, but yeah, I don't know. I think that definitely the betting value is going to be with Hill, but I'm going to stay away at this point as far as the bet.
Hmm.
But it was 3 rounds. It was 3 rounds. I would really like Angela Hill. I think Angela, but 5 rounds. I don't know. I think that even though Mackenzie Dern's had a 5 round fight against Rodriguez, yeah, she definitely fading. Got beat up in the fourth and fifth. Torres was 3 rounds, and that was so maybe 5 rounds isn't the worst thing because of just Mackenzie's style. I don't know.
I mean, for Mackenzie, more rounds is better. More opportunity to get it to the ground.
She wasn't able to do that against Rodriguez. Like she got smoked in the fourth and fifth round against Rodriguez, and which is going to be similar to this because if she can't get you down by that point, she's tired. So that would favor like Hill is going to be like, like you can't take me down anymore. I'm going to light you up. Maybe right.
Maybe. Could be. All right. There you have it.
So you have Hill. You have Hill? You have Hill? I didn't pick. Huh? Who'd you pick?
Who'd you pick? I thought you just picked. My bad. Oh. Who are you picking?
I picked Dern.
Oh, you did pick Dern. Then why are you saying? Were you telling me I didn't pick? Because I did.
No, I didn't hear your pick. I didn't hear actual. I missed it. Sorry, I missed like your actual pick.
No.
Yeah. All right, you're confident too. Wow. See that makes me want to bet Hill because you are a Mackenzie Dern believer, disciple of things, just like most jiu-jitsu nerds.
I think she looks like shit.
I've been saying that, but now I think she looks better. I've been saying that, but I think even though she lost last fight, I think she's getting a little better. Like her striking's like things are improving.
Man, I think if she couldn't finish Yan Xiaonan,
and that's Xiaonan's good.
I know, but like, man, I've never seen an omoplata as tight as I saw Yan in an omoplata, and then they transitioned right to an arm triangle, and she couldn't finish either of those.
She's her omoplata, like when her omoplata, she uses omoplata in MMA probably more than I've ever seen anyone, and she does it very well.
Agreed. She gets to it all the time. Uses it wonderfully to sweep. In this one scenario, Yan did not accept the sweep.
Mm-hmm.
If Yan doesn't sweep, you should be breaking her arm. So her finishing mechanics are broken. No, okay, Yan's flexible, all that other stuff. And then she did a cool thing. She transitioned right from an omoplata into an arm triangle. I've literally never considered that before. And like my omoplata game isn't that sophisticated to see an arm triangle from it, right? My arm triangle game is sophisticated enough to maybe do it, but right? Yeah, you're confused right now. Like, how do I get to an arm triangle from an omoplata? Well, if I lay you flat and then you try and put your back on the floor,
right?
Your arm should snap. If your arm doesn't snap, it means my mechanics weren't correct.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be able to turn belly up if I have you in an omoplata. That's the entire point. So I don't, like, the longer the time goes on, the more I see that her sport jiu-jitsu doesn't work here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a very big proponent of jiu-jitsu first, but and then I got a new fighter I'm working with, and one of the other coaches saw me and is like, "Why are you spending so much time working on striking if you're a jiu-jitsu coach?" And I'm like, "I don't think I'm working on striking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on footwork. We got to have this so that we can get to the ground. Like, we got to have these other tools. Even if jiu-jitsu is going to be your specialty, you have to have a way to take it there. And she doesn't have that. And once it is there, it's not designed for this."
Mm.
Like Crone's game wasn't designed for this.
I get that. Like, the game wasn't designed for it, and that was an awful performance by him, and he actually commented on it yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, and he said that wasn't his game plan, but he switched his game plan as to one of his coaches' advice is 2 hours before the fight. Whatever. I don't know if that's true, but like, you should still, like, I don't. Maybe that game's not there, but once your submission attempts are, that should be there. How is that not there? Like that should
Because
be
she's a
there.
gi player.
Oh, that makes sense. That's what I'm missing from the tidbit. So she's strictly gi and right. So the no gi, right. She's not used to things. That's the big
So it's
missing link.
not, but like, so she's a high enough level grappler that she can take off a gi and immediately do better against most people. Okay.
Right.
The difference from gi to no gi is one thing, and then the difference from no gi to MMA is another thing.
Right.
As far as the techniques you use and the things that you're trying to accomplish, but also the way that it's scored. The things that are best practices are different.
Right.
Like, so Luke Thomas has a thing about Mackenzie Dern needs to learn how to strike on the ground. And one of the things he brings up is if I want to strike on the ground, most people will they'll put a hand on the ground like a kickstand on a bike.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they'll get stability. And now they can start delivering strikes and they can twist their whole body into it. Mackenzie Dern balances on her face and then tries to throw punches, which means her punches are just this.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not like I can literally just sit there and allow you to continue to do that to me and not worry about it. Right. If your game is designed on the idea that you can use De La Hiva guard to tie them up and then you can get an omoplata from the De La Hiva, and like it's not that these things don't work in MMA, it's that they're not usually the best course of action in that scenario. Like if you're standing above me in my guard, I should be trying to kick you. I shouldn't be. I don't know, man. It's just.
I know what you're saying. She's trying to underhook a leg or do something else. Like she's not.
And those are all good ideas. That's the thing is like.
And they work for her. We've seen her do that and switch positions, but like you're saying, she doesn't know enough when she's at those positions. I guess to benefit herself more in MMA, which she should be able to learn.
I think she's strong. Too much.
She's strong down below.
I don't think it's that she doesn't know enough. I think it's that she knows too much. So if you got her to one of those crazy good positions and then she ran out of options, I think she would start hitting people, or she'd be doggedly committed to submitting you. But instead, she's just like, here's another thing I can do. Here's another thing I can do. Here's another thing I can do. And there's no teeth.
Yeah, that's got to be it because we broke it down. She should have more submissions in this.
If you aren't going to snap a limb once you snatch it, you don't have a submission hold. You have a concession hold. World-class fighters won't concede shit. So Yan Zhao, the defense to an omoplata is to concede top position. Yan Zhao now said, fuck that. And then Mackenzie couldn't break her arm.
No.
Paul Craig. People go into Paul Craig's guard and they try and ignore his guard and they try and say, fuck that arm bar. And their arm gets snapped in half, a la Jamal Hill.
Right.
Ryan.
Yeah. All right. So Josh got frozen out. Professor Violence is frozen. Oh, he just got frozen out. He's back.
It's necessary.
I went into a closing speech for the show because I just thought your whole thing got frozen off.
It froze for a half a second. My Wi-Fi's not the greatest. Anyways, I gotta fix that.
It's all good.
It's like there's people who say that Paulie Malignaggi is the bravest boxer in history because he knew 100% of the time he was going all 12 rounds. He couldn't finish anybody. His hands constantly got broken.
Yeah.
So he went into every fight knowing he would be in there for half an hour.
Yeah.
You have the touch of death. If you're Francis Ngannou, how scared do you have to be?
Yeah.
If you know you have to be in there, you have to be perfect for half an hour. Imagine you were Paulie Malignaggi fighting Francis Ngannou. For 30 minutes, I have to be perfect, and he only has to touch me once. That's what it should be like. If you're a submission specialist,
right?
Wonder Boy said fighting Damian Maia terrifies him because this man can grab my wrists and suddenly I wake up tomorrow.
Yep. No, for sure. They should be scared to death. And now it's becoming Mackenzie's. Yeah, people just aren't afraid. Mackenzie takes you down. Oh, not a big deal. Like she gets this.
Right?
No big deal. Yeah.
Dude, she's world class on the ground, but there's no fucking teeth. She's
No,
not
we
gonna
see.
not gonna knock your teeth out. And she's not gonna snap one of your limbs. She's not gonna remove you from consciousness. She's gonna put you in dangerous positions.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna put you in dangerous positions. And if you refuse to quit, she's not gonna finish you.
All right, no, it's true. Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see this now. I think it's a good matchup for both at this point in their career. So we'll see who's at where. I think Dern gets it done, but you think Hill. If you're going to bet it, I think you definitely bet Hill. Yeah, definitely bet Hill. But all right.
All right, degenerates.
This time and every time.
Algorithm versus the experts. If you haven't done it yet, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Smash that little bell up at the top so you get notifications every time John puts out a short.
Yes.
This time and every time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody.